Hello friends, welcome to Insight Learners. So in this video we shall discuss the technical interview questions that are important, and those are the questions that was asked in BluJay Solutions in the year 2021. So we shall quickly see what are those important, that is technical interview questions that was asked. So the first question is that they are going to ask, so tell me about yourself. So the first question will be tell me about yourself. So again the exam was conducted on the MyAnatomy platform. Again the interview will be once you clear the first round, you will get a call from the HR of that company, and they are going to say like you have cleared the first round, and the second round it will be scheduled on that day. So again you will get the interview link on the MyAnatomy platform itself. So even the interview will be conducted on the MyAnatomy platform itself. So whichever exam you have taken on the MyAnatomy platform, so the interview will also be scheduled. That is, it can be technical interview or HR interview. It will be scheduled on the same MyAnatomy platform itself. So the first question they are going to tell is, first they are going to introduce themselves, and then they are going to tell you to tell me about yourself. So this will be the first question they are going to ask. So when they are going to ask this question, so just be brief. You just tell yourself, like tell about yourself and your qualification, aggregate percentage, and then after that, and what are the skills you have acquired. So it can be any skills, and if you have done any certification course on any, like if you have done certification course on Java, Python, whichever is applicable for you, you can say to them. So based on that, so if you have done any certification course on Java or Python, then based on that they are going to ask you the questions. So then in this case you can mention like whichever certification course or whatever new skills you have learned, you can mention them. So just be brief about yourself. So once that is done, so they are going to focus on the first thing is they are going to ask you which programming language do you know. So you can say you are proficient with Java or Python or whichever programming language you have well knowledge of, that you can say to them like you have knowledge of Java or Python. So based on that they are going to ask you the question, and database is one of the important part they are going to ask. So this is, so even though if you know or if you do not know, they are going to ask you the questions on database. So be prepared with database interview questions. So if you want me to upload the interview questions on database, I can do that for you. You can comment it for me to upload the videos. I will upload it. So then first they are going to ask you the questions on database, then they are going to ask you about the programming. So first thing is database. So in case of database, first they are going to ask you what is DBMS. So you need to tell, so just telling the definition won't work, you need to tell them with the example. So then first you are going to say what is database management system, then you are going to tell with the example. So next thing is after DBMS, then the next question will be what is RDBMS. So it is relational database management system. So relational database management system. So then you are going to say what it is with definition, and for whatever technical interview questions you need to tell them with the example, so they are more convinced. So then you can say what is RDBMS, and then after that so then the next important concept they are going to ask you is difference between primary key. So difference between primary key and foreign key. So you should be able to say what is primary key and then what is foreign key. So difference between primary key and the foreign key. So again this you are going to say. So again you are going to say what it is definition, as well as with the example you can say to them. So then you need to tell them what is the exact difference between the primary key as well as the foreign key. So then after that the next will be the normalization. So this is one of the important concept in database they are going to ask. So normalization, you can go for any interview. So normalization will be the question they are going to ask you from the database. So you should know at least 3 normalization forms. So you should know various normalization form. So you should be able to explain them, which are the different normal forms. Different normal forms, and which are the various normalization forms. And just telling what is normalization form, it won't work. You are going to explain them and which normalization form like there are various normalization forms. So which normalization form is applicable? So when you are going to use that normalization forms, so you should be able to tell them. So this is one of the important. So you're going to expect the question from the normalization itself. So you should so be prepared with at least three normalization forms, where to use and when to use. You should be able to explain them. So next thing is that so once the database part, so within the database part they are going to ask you the questions on primary key, foreign key and normalization. So then after that they are going to ask like which programming language you are well versed with. So if you say you are well versed with Java or Python, whichever, so based on that they are going to ask you the questions. So be prepared with the OOPS concept. So it can be, if you are well versed with Java or Python, so you need to be prepared with the OOPS concepts. So OOPS concepts, they are going to ask the questions. It can be inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation. So you should know various OOPS concepts. And next thing is that they are going to ask to write the programs. So whichever language you are comfortable with, they are going to ask to write the programs. So while similarly, so just telling the logic, it doesn't help. You are going to write the program to them and show. So in My Anatomy platform, there will be board in which they are going to tell you to open the board and write the program. So you should be able to write the program. So first they are going to ask the logic. So you are going to say them the logic. Then after that you are going to write the program in the board and show them. So then the main thing, that is the programs, they are going to ask from the strings. So mainly they are going to ask the programs. They are going to ask simple programs and they are going to focus main on the strings, and it can be arrays. So with respect to arrays, they can ask the programs on palindrome. And next thing is you can say with respect to string. So this with respect to string, this was the important questions. Important, that is many times they have asked this question, that is to find the duplicate characters in the string. So to find duplicate characters in the strings. So for this, first you are going to tell the logic to them, and once you say the logic, they are going to ask you to write the program and show in the board. So you should open the board, share your screen, and you should write the program and explain them. So just writing the code won't help. You are going to, and they are going to ask you to explain line by line. So how you have written the code, you need to explain them line by line. So each code, how it works, you are going to just explain them. No need to execute and show the output. So you are just writing the code and you need to explain the code which you have written. So this is one of the, so they are going to ask the questions on the strings and the arrays. So strings, you can expect the question, that is to find the duplicate characters in the string, or some similar questions on strings. So like you need to, they're going to say like you need to consider a count and then store the value in the count, and then you're going to traverse entire array and find the whether there is a duplicate characters in the string. If there are duplicate characters, you are going to print that there is duplicate characters in string. If not, then there are no duplicates present. So like they are going to tell you to write the program, and you should write the program with proper syntax, and you should explain each code. So again they cross question like how this you wrote, so you should be able to explain the entire code. So these are the areas in which they are focusing on. So the first thing is that, and next thing is that they are going to ask the questions on JDBC. So JDBC questions, that is Java database connectivity. So you should be able to say what is JDBC, why it is used, Java database connectivity, why actually this JDBC is used. So it is mainly used to connect the Java as well as the database. We use the JDBC connectivity. And next thing is they are going to ask like within the JDBC, what is JDBC driver. So JDBC driver, and you should be able to say the connectivity of that. And next thing is that project. So your final year project or whichever project you have worked on, so they are going to ask you about the project you done. So project you done, and the thing is that you should explain each and everything in the project, like it should be in brief, and you should explain them the project in detail. So then you should say like what main thing you have done in project, and then after that they are going to ask you like what extra things you have added in your project, and what are the challenges that were faced by you. And like the final year project, it will be done in a group, and they are going to ask what is the part of the project you did, and they are going to ask the question in detail, and you should be able to say each and every part of the project you done. So this is all about the areas in which they are focusing. So this is common for all the interview questions. So BluJay Solutions, so these are the areas in which they are focusing. The first thing is that the database. Next thing is the programming language, whichever you are comfortable in that OOPS concept, and they are literally going to ask you to write the program, because BluJay Solution, it is a product based company. So since it is a product based company, you need to able to write a programs. So you should able to run the program, you should able to write the program and explain them how you wrote the program, and then the logic of the code. And then the JDBC, that is connectivity, whichever connectivity you have used in your project. So they are going to ask like JDBC connectivity, what is JDBC driver, and then after that the project you have done. So you should explain your project, and also you should cover the details, that is the important details or important things that you have done in project, and what extra things or ideas you have added, you should be able to tell them. So this is all about the technical interview questions that was mainly focused on these areas, and these are the common questions that was asked. So thank you friends for watching, and do subscribe our channel for more updates.